Howdy folks, Brian Cusco here at Triple B, and we're back for our second interview at the Tinley Reptiles show. We've got Summer Grace Mitchell, and she is a lot of things. She's a musician. She works at the newly Canova, what was JKR, Kobylka Reptiles. She does the social media stuff over there, video production there. Also has her own YouTube channel where she does a fantastic job, and that's what we're going to talk to her about today. So you're watching Triple B TV.
What do you think about the ARC Rebrand?
I like it. Well, I also like it because I really like Blake.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's trying to, I appreciate what he's trying to do for the industry because it needs it.
Yeah, no doubt. It's true. Once I learned a little bit more about it, you start seeing all the different logos that are out there.
It all starts popping out at you, and you're like,
ah! Whoa, that's just that's art. It's beautiful art. It's not a logo.
Right? Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Again, I think the fact that Blake is who he is makes a big difference too. It's not like he's just some guy that is trying to make money off the industry.
No, he actually likes the animals, and he's into it on a personal level too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helps. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, the first time here, I'm gonna get a camera on that thing too. I had. This is where I become less professional. I just shoot with my phone so I get some shots of the snake. The first time I saw you, I believe, and I've told you this, was you were doing some live performances on Facebook.
During the pandemic.
During the pandemic, playing songs and singing. I was like, this is awesome. I just sat there. I was like, I'm pretty sure I commented in the stream too. I was like, this is sweet. And I was just like,
oh, well, appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun I had to do something to connect with people instead of sitting in my house all the time. So.
Well, it was good too. It was. I felt like I was at an actual coffee shop vibes.
Oh, sweet. Well, thank you. Yeah.
Good singing, good playing.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's actually what I went to school for. So.
You went to school for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have my degree's in music business.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but obviously, life takes you different places. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I went to school for music too.
Oh, awesome.
I played professionally for a long time, but it still went a different direction.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. But it's a big part of my life still. On a personal level. It's just not something that I pursue super hard professionally or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, I can't say enough how actually good it was because there are plenty of times I click on something, somebody's doing something.
And you're like,
I'm like,
clicking off.
Yeah, 10 seconds maybe. It's but I stuck with it, so it means something.
Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from another musician, because a lot of people have bad taste and can't tell when something's good or bad, but you would have known, so appreciate that.
Yeah, and your snake here that you got is obviously from. I think that I learned after I saw you playing music that when did you start working for what is now Canova?
So I started working for Justin Canova, JKR, back in November of 2019, right when he got his new facility. They hired me on to clean cages and basically be like an animal caretaker. So I did that for about 8 or 9 months, and at the time I was working 2 jobs. I was also a dance teacher. That was my former profession. I taught music and dance, and so I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Justin's in the day and then at dance and music studios at night, and it just became way too overwhelming, and so I had to make a choice to not do 2 jobs at once anymore, and it was really hard. So I actually quit because I just couldn't do the time commitment anymore, and I felt like a real idiot because I was like, this is one of my dreams, to be, ever since I started getting into reptiles when I was 11, and so growing up I'd actually been on forums, and since I was local I kind of knew who Justin was because I always thought it was super cool. He would be on the forums back in the day. And so when I had the opportunity to actually work for him 15 years later, I was like, this is so bizarre. I can't believe life took me here. But yeah, so then I ended up quitting. And at that point, just so happened that I guess Justin didn't hate me for quitting. So he got in touch with me and asked if I could help with Instagram and stuff just remotely from home. And that kind of just grew into him delegating more and more things and kind of realizing that it was nice to not have to do all of it himself, I think. And so eventually he offered me a full-time position, and then I was able to once again switch jobs and go back to the reptiles. And now I've been working full-time with him since January, so coming up on a year now. Pretty
Okay.
quick. Yep.
So you're doing all like the filming? Is that you filming and editing?
Yes. So
okay.
I kind of a little bit of a jack of all trades. I'm doing majority of the sales on the email. So anybody who's been buying snakes has probably been in touch with me in the past couple months. And then I also
I ducked under your radar somehow. Went straight to the source.
Yeah, you get unless you're getting that sliding in Justin's DMs. But yeah, and then I film all the videos, I edit all the videos. I do a lot of the Instagram posts, but Justin does some of that too. And yeah, just kind of keep up with contacting people. We have a Patreon, which I set up, and I kind of manage that as well. So it's been fun. It's a lot. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts, but I really enjoy kind of every aspect of it. So.
Yeah.
What's not to like when you get to take pictures and videos of
What
snakes
is this, by the way?
So this is the latest iteration of the Starburst. So the Starburst is the Inchy Leopard Lavender, and this is an Orange Dream Yellow Belly Inchy Leopard Lavender.
Orange Dream Yellow Belly.
That's what we believe.
Okay.
Anyway, until proven otherwise. Yeah. So it's just crazy because when the original Starburst, like the Inchy Leopard Lavender, when they're born, they don't have all of this pink. They're kind of white and yellow, and then the pink develops as they age. What's crazy about this snake is that it was born like this. So we're just waiting to see how it's going to continue to color up as it gets older. It kind of started out at 100, so we've got to get to like 150 and 200 and really break the mold there. But yeah, it's absolutely awesome.
That's sweet. And so I know obviously you work at Canova, you're doing all that stuff over there, but the other thing I really want to talk about you is your own channel, like your own work with snakes and... Yeah,
so I started a channel, and really initially I started it because, like I said, I was teaching the dance classes, and I'm kind of, I love kids, so I would tell them whenever I got a new snake, and all the little girls would think it was either really cool or really gross, and then eventually they think it was cool. And so they started asking me kind of silly questions like, do your snakes just like live in your house like a cat or a dog would? And so I made a video to show them how I keep my snakes in like what kind of cages I had and like how it all works. And then after that, since I had the channel up, I decided to just kind of for goodwill. I have a lot of people that I had bought snakes from that I really enjoyed the experience and was, grateful to have had such a good customer interaction. So I started doing unboxing videos, just to kind of shout out them and show off the snakes. And then after that, a couple of those kind of people started asking for updates, like, oh, how's it doing now? And so that kind of led me to do an update video on a snake. And then from there, I kind of just decided, I'm not like an expert, you know what I mean? I'm just a person like everybody else that keeps snakes in their house. But I've learned some things over the past 15, 17, however many years. And if I can help somebody that's new, like get over some hurdles and like save them some time or some stress by like giving some tips or advice for just kind of basic things that I think once you've been in it for a while, you can kind of lose sight of what it's like to be new and to like not necessarily like understand everything or like have a great grasp on it. And so I kind of tried to take myself back to that and like, what would I hope that somebody would have told me back when I started? So I started making some educational type videos, and just also talking about some of the species that I really enjoy that I think make good pets or make good like companion snakes, if that's a thing, or enjoyable to keep if you just have a couple animals. And yeah, so I started my Girl with Scales channel.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've watched some of the videos and you had the rough scale python on there, I believe.
Yeah.
That one was cool. And then there was the one that was like the different behavioral stuff that you were showing.
I showed I did one about body language.
Yeah.
So I started seeing in a lot of the Facebook groups, which are a treasure trove of all types of personalities, I started seeing a lot of like kind of new people being like, help, I'm scared to reach in my snake's cage. Like, what do I do? And then the comments, of course, were filled with a bunch of people being like, either, oh, just reach in and grab it, which isn't helpful because that's what they're scared of. Or people being like, well, if you're scared of a snake, why do you have, you know what I mean? Like just being dismissive. So I was like, well, I'm gonna actually answer this question. So I thought about what I needed to do to answer that. And I thought the first thing that people have to understand, at least a little bit, is the body. Like they have to be able to tell what the snake is sort of like what their mood is, kind of get a read on them so they know, can they just reach in and grab it, or is that going to be disastrous? Like, are you going to get bit? You know what I mean? So I made that video talking about kind of just really basic stuff, like things that you can look at to kind of tell. It's hard because they don't have a lot of facial expressions. So it's not like a dog or a cat.
Or
and they don't make any noises really unless they're hissing at you. So I made a video kind of doing just a really basic rundown of like, is it looking tense? Is it looking at you? Like, is it focusing on you and lifting its head up and like staring at you in an S position? Like things like that. And then after that, I followed up with a video kind of talking about how to get your snake out without getting bit. So so it's been fun. I wish I was making more content, but one of my goals this coming year is to actually get on a regular schedule.
Cool.
I've kind of been doing it.
I would like that because when I was looking through, I was like, there's
been a minute.
A little spotty.
It's a little sporadic. Yeah, it's hard when my full-time job requires me to make at least 2 videos a week, sometimes 3 or 4, depending on what's going on Patreon. It's hard to have the energy to come home and then make more, but that is something I want to work on because I really do enjoy making those videos, and I enjoy like the feedback and kind of getting to share that with people.
Yeah, and you do a really good job. Like, you're very well spoken, and the things that you're trying to explain seem to come out. I'm sure it's not effortless, but it appears to be effortless, which makes it very easy to listen to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
soak the
that.
information up.
I credit that to my like dance and music teaching. You know, I've gotten used to explaining things to people over the years, so it's. I mean, look, there's a lot of takes and a lot of editing that goes into it. Like,
sure.
But I do feel like if I'm able to communicate, then I would like to share that. You know, not just keep that to myself. If somebody could benefit from me communicating something, then that's a good.
It's
thing
good.
To me, so.
It's great. And then the fact that it's you too. I mean, it helps. Like, we don't. There's not enough. As much as we live in this bubble of snakes are cool, we are a very small minority in the world of people, and to have, I mean, you appear to be somebody that is fairly normal, and somebody that I think
I try.
Yeah, and then the fact that you're a girl too does help because there's a lot of, it's obviously been changing over the past decade for sure.
Right, for sure.
But there's still more. You know, it just helps people. The more people, I think, the more, like you said, there's a whole cornucopia of personality types out there on Facebook. I think the more wide of a spectrum we can cover as far as people who are into snakes.
100%,
then it just makes it that much more normal in the world where...
That's exactly my goal. Like, my goal is to, like, reach somebody who maybe... And I had a friend from high school who I haven't talked to in years, and she, I guess, found one of my videos or saw that I posted on Facebook, and she was like, I have no interest in snakes whatsoever, but I watched that entire video and like, I kind of like snakes now. And that's kind of my goal. It's like maybe somebody who doesn't even care about snakes could click on it and not be like immediately put off by like, oh, this is some kind of like weird niche group of like weirdos. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to anybody, but you know, there's people out there to be reached that aren't reptile people, but could become them if it's introduced in a way that is palatable to their, sensibilities or whatever. So, and that's kind of the idea with the rebrand with JKR as well, is broadening the scope so that it's something that appeals to a wider audience, and we can bring more people into the hobby, because ultimately that's what's going to save the hobby and keep it going and keep our rights and all of that stuff is getting more people involved. If we're just this tiny group of people, we're going to get swamped by all the others. So
it's true.
Yeah.
That's 100% correct. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm glad you said it for me. Seriously, I think you're doing a great job. It's great to finally meet you in person and hang
for sure.
out.
Awesome.
You're just keep doing what you're doing. I couldn't possibly give you any advice to do anything better. Like, you just.
Well, I definitely need to do it more often.
More often. More often on your channel. But I mean, I understand you're swamped with the Canova stuff, which is 100% understandable. But I think if you get that spot where you're able to do like one video a week on your own channel, I think that would be phenomenal. And
that's my goal. So I'm gonna work toward it.
Awesome.
You gotta text me and be like, "Where's the video this week?"
Yeah. I'll put you on our Discord. We have a thing called video accountability.
Oh, that's exactly what I need.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need.
Where's the video this week at, Summer?
Perfect. Awesome.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to pull away and sit down.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was so good to meet you as well, and I appreciate you bringing me over to chat. And next time, bring an instrument and we'll do a little duet.
Yes. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as we always do with our guests tonight, We're going to be having a Zoom call with Summer for a little more intimate Q&A session. If you would like to join for that, there's a link in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you again, Summer, for pulling away from the booth to come and talk with us. And well, we'll see you next week right here on Triple B TV. Y'all take care.